Today's lesson, solving quadratic functions by completing the square, and that is your learning target. You can kind of read what it says here, but off to the side I wrote down the 6 steps of solving it the way I see it. So on this one, let us make sure that you have the ax squared plus bx on one side and the c value on the other side. Now in order to do this, step 1 says take half of the b value. So that negative 18, take half of it, which is going to be a negative 9. Step 2 says to square it, so I'm going to take that negative 9 and I'm going to square it, which is 81. Step 3 says to add it to both sides, so I have step 3 here, x squared minus 18x equals negative 17, and I'm going to add the 81 to both sides. Now in adding the 81 to both sides, that makes this a perfect square, like so. It's going to be an x minus 9 and an x minus 9. If you foiled it, you would understand that it's x squared minus 18x plus 81. So basically what you have is step 4, it is the same thing twice, x minus 9 twice equals the result on this other side is 64. Now step 5 says to square root both sides, and that is to get rid of the square. So basically square rooting a square cancels off, and square rooting the other side, we're going to have a positive and negative result because 8 squared is 64, negative 8 squared is 64. So we've got to take consideration of both possibilities. So we have x minus 9 equals positive and negative 8, solving it by adding 9 to both sides, and so we have a problem that is x equals the 9 plus and minus 8. Now let's finish those off by going x equals 9 minus 8 or 9 plus 8. So we're going to get an answer of 1 or 17. On the other one, same idea, but I'm going to subtract 3 first. And so I'll have a squared minus 14a equals negative 13. And then step 1 says take half of that b value. So take half of it, which is negative 7. Step 2 says to square it, which is going to be 49. Step 3 says add it to both sides. So I will add it to both sides. So it's going to be a plus 49. And a plus 49. And then remember, this is going to be a minus 7 and a minus 7. So step 4 says to have the parentheses, and it's the same thing, so squaring it equals that result, which is 36. Step 5 says to square root both sides, cancels the square, and a plus minus. A minus 7 equals positive and negative 6. Step 6 says to solve for a, so add 7 to both sides, so we'll have a equals a positive 7 plus and minus 6, which is 7 minus 6, or 7 plus 6. So the answer is 1 or 13. All right, let's look at this one here. Let's subtract 8 to both sides. So we'll have x squared minus 12x, leave a little space, equals 2. Take half of that 12, square it, add it to both sides, and we will get x minus 6 twice equals 38. Square root both sides, so you have a plus and a minus. You have x minus 6 after the squares cancel equals plus and minus square root of 38. Add 6 to both sides. The answer will be x equals 6 plus or minus square root of 38. Sorry, that should have been an 8. And that's it. That's as far as we're going to get. Last one, subtract 14 to both sides. And so you'll get x squared plus 9x equals a negative 7. Step 1, take half of that 9. Step 2 says to square, which is 81/4, and then we're going to leave it as a fraction. Step 3 says to add 81/4 to both sides. Step 4 says that it's going to be plus 9/2 twice. And then this result, now this result's a little bit trickier, but negative 7 could be negative 28/4 plus 81/4. And that result is 53/4. Square root both sides. So we will have x plus 9/2 equals positive and negative square root of 53/4, and I'm going to split up the square root like so to get plus and minus square root of 53. Square root of 4 is 2. Subtract 9/2 to both sides. We will have x equals negative 9/2 plus or minus square root of 53. Having a common denominator means I can add the numerators. So x will equal negative 9 plus or minus square root of 53, and the shared 2 on the bottom. There you go.